So, welcome to another episode on the Highs and Lows podcast crypto segment. As you all know, I'm your host, and my name is Solomon Gift, and I'm here with my co-host.
It's always a fantastic time to talk about
what's happening in the market.
Crypto, and it has been quite slow.
It has also been a roller coaster. 2025.
Crypto has its moment, but anyway, so that's what we're here to talk about.
So would you really say this year 2025 has been going as well as we thought and as well as most persons planned about it?
Absolutely not.
Because most persons, their portfolio has been slaughtered. Most persons have lost lots of money. And we'll jump into all of this and today's episode. We will. But first, let's start with what we've noticed in the market so far this first quarter. Let's talk about like altcoins.
Well, altcoins has been butchered, right? But in the beginning of this quarter, because this quarter is basically rounding up, beginning of this quarter, we had the meme rally, right?
Yes.
Even before the swearing in of Trump, we had a whole lot of meme rally. Then later we now had the Trump whole family,
the family coin and all of that. Which dealt with the market by
that was like
the
first blow to the alt market, right? We were still trying to recover from that. Then we now started having, at least in the beginning we had the meme rally running almost parallel with the AI agents.
Which were more of utility based.
Which were utility based, because in the ecosystem people were already complaining, why is it only meme that is running, why is it only meme that's running, that utility tokens it's not running yet. Or then we now had AI agents start popping, but then when the blow came, when there were like a whole lot of liquidity being sucked out
of the market,
meme started dumping. But then you still saw AI agents still maintain their trajectory, right? But a huge blow came directly for AI agents when DeepSeek launched. That singular announcement of DeepSeek sent, it was a huge
dealt to the stocks market.
Every market was really
dealt with
affected.
crypto was all markets,
and we haven't recovered from that blow yet.
Definitely we haven't. Then before you now factor in the rules and the trade wars and the tariff fights, you get.
So that's what I'm saying. This first quarter,
uncertainty you get from Trump's announcements and all of those things. So the first quarter has been like a very crazy roller coaster. Even for those trading forex,
every market,
even for people that are into importation. Everyone has just.
There was a statement online that before Trump would make this economy great, he would first of all destroy the economy.
To an extent, we are seeing that happen. But still, there's an asset that has, against all odds, created a new all-time high, which we might talk about that later. Like gold. Gold has created a new all-time high,
because
despite
people are using it as a hedge, because what's happening in the economy, because there's we're now having side talk of World War III. We are talking about you're talking about the trade wars. The first quarter was not what many people anticipated.
It wasn't what we anticipated.
Right now we saw a whole lot of shitty thing happen in the market in terms of celebrities launching meme coins, political figures.
It was happening almost every day.
It was not like it is the new legal.
And what people fail to understand here is when people's agenda and motives is actually misplaced, because now we started seeing, based on those meme coins launching, promise of huge profits. You will hear somebody turning $200 to $20,000, $30,000. That meme coin rally also aggressively dealt with altcoins,
of course,
because we started seeing at that same time where Trump meme was pumping, other celebrity memes, Melina meme was pumping. At that same time, we started seeing lots of altcoins crashing, because people were not dumping their alt, selling to go and quickly buy the meme coins to make quick profits.
And then when they lose it,
and when they eventually, most of them even lost the money, so they could not even go back to buy those altcoins.
Yes.
So it sucked so much value
out
from
of the market,
the
out of the
altcoins,
market,
and
yes.
it also still sucked a lot from the meme coins.
Yes.
So right now the market is even struggling to look for liquidity.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy, actually. It's crazy. So talking about like some other stuffs, and we know there were lots of liquidations, which was another crazy thing that happened. We saw that hack.
We saw the Bybit hack. That's
the
currently
hack,
the highest hack
in the history, of
in
crypto.
the history of crypto,
and that was now followed by
the highest liquidation
happening like 1 week, 2 weeks after.
And there were like a couple of liquidations. So they had the main one. Then after a few days, there's another liquidation event.
Yeah. And it is quite crazy when you think about it, because in crypto, if you look at historical data, most times when there is a hack, a week or two after, or a few weeks after, you see a huge liquidation event. Even when it is clearly not the hackers selling. And there's this theory that most times it's the exchange that was hacked, or the platform that was hacked, that is trying to coordinate that to see how they can make part of the money. Which, if you look at historical data, you can be like, well, it might be true, not yet proven, but there's a chance that might be true. But it's always good as traders for us to like draw like some form of experience from all those past events, because if people were paying attention to those stuffs, immediately the Bybit hack happened, people were supposed to start expecting a dump in the market sooner or later. A huge dump. And the funny thing is, as it is right now, we don't even hear anything about the funds again.
But the news about that hack, the funds, is that it has been fully laundered. But
it's gone. The money is gone.
It's gone. But
a whole $1.4 billion
dollars
in Ethereum.
Yeah.
Gone within a space of 3 weeks.
I would give kudos to Bybit, because Bybit is still there. It's still strong. It's still processing transactions as if nothing happened. Things. It goes to show probably how much money these exchanges are making. And another thing I noticed is kind of Bybit withdrawal fees it increased a little bit, right? Because I think I tried to withdraw USDT from Bybit, I think using Binance Smart Chain. They were charging, I think Binance Smart Chain or Solana, they were charging as much as $2,
which initially it used to be $1.
Yeah, some of them were even free. Some of the withdrawals. And Ethereum, if you were withdrawing through Ethereum, it was probably as much as $8 to $10. Which
was like $3-4.
Yes, so higher. They are trying to make back. So because people were withdrawing their money from Bybit, so they might as well make some money from it. So or maybe to deter some people too from withdrawing their money. So kudos to Bybit, because they are still waxing strong. They are still listing. So because they listed AO. One of our tokens.
They've announced the listing, but I don't think they've not listed it yet.
What did they list?
They've listed some other tokens that did pre-markets.
They listed pre-markets for some tokens, but there's a new token they listed. I can't remember the name, but I know they've listed some new tokens, and all that good stuff. So I don't know. Let's see how the end of this quarter and probably the beginning of next quarter.
What would you say that like the biggest lesson that was learned in this first quarter, because we're just barely a week away from the end of this first quarter? In the next 5 days or so, first quarter will be over. What would you say was like that biggest lesson?
For me, there's no new lesson. For us that have been in this market.
But obviously for like the newbies,
the newbies is
people that are just because
take profit.
Because the majority of the world they are just being exposed to crypto for the very first time. Most of them, their first exposure was via meme coins,
right?
Because during the Trump meme, I heard people that have never ever been into crypto asking, how do I buy Trump meme? I want to buy a Trump meme. Oh, I know people are making so much money now with Trump meme. You get, so most of them, that was like their first experience. And no doubt most of them lost crazy money.
Yes. So there was this saying during those days of MMM, Get Help Worldwide and all that stuff, that the moment you start hearing about a platform from your security man, the guy selling on the street and all, it's time for you to leave.
Yes.
So the moment you start hearing about a meme or a token, probably a meme, every single place, everyone is talking about, they want to get in. If you're already in it, it's time for you to start taking profits.
Which is actually very true.
Yes, because this is basically a zero-sum game. That money you're making is not coming from thin air. You're taking other people's money. So if you're hearing everybody's now talking about it, they want to buy it or they've bought some. At some point, they would want to take out money.
Yeah, they want to sell.
So if you're ahead of the curve in that you've bought already, it's a good time, to take. So I tell people, the bull market for me is a seller's market, not the buyer's market.
Yeah, because you're supposed to have been buying.
You're supposed to have been buying in a bear market. You're supposed to have positioned. For example, we've been positioning for like chains like Chromia for a very long time. Chains like Chain for a very long time. AO, we've been positioning. Kujira, which has now become Rujira, we've been positioning. So imagine if you're now enjoying like a 10x, 40x, 50x. You're not saying no, it's still undervalued. Guy, it's a seller's market. Make your profit, get out, or at least take some profit.
And another thing people also fail to understand too is, I always tell people this, that when an asset moves up very fast, let's say on the 10th of April, you bought an asset with $500, and in the next 3 days, the $500 is now $2,500. So it has moved 500% within 3 to 4 days.
Short period of time.
You get, that is a huge sign that you need to pull out the money. But the issue is, people look at it this way: somebody that put $10 will be like, this $10 is just 50. Let me wait for it to get to 200. Forgetting that this thing has done 400%. You get
in this short
profit within these 72 hours or thereabouts, within 3-4 days.
People don't understand,
and you're only focusing on your position. Position that you want your position to get to $200. Forgetting that if it gets there, that will be times 20. Your capital. You get, now imagine someone that put $10,000 in that stuff. He'll be sitting on 200k. Do you think the person will be waiting for you? Imagine somebody that put 500,000. You get in that same asset. Do you think the person will be waiting for you? You understand things like that. So people need to factor that in. Look at the percentage profit you're making, and if it happens within if it happens within a very, very short period of time, take profit. Take out profit.
I tell people, aside this whole thing being a zero-sum game, where you take from the buyers and the sellers and all that stuff, you also have to understand it's a game of numbers. Right? Now you're buying something with $50 does not mean everybody is buying with $50 or everybody is buying with lesser than $50. So that person might put, for example, you might buy an asset. Let's say the asset is worth $1 and it's early and you buy with $50, and now it's like, let's say it's $2. Somebody might enter in $2 with $1,000, and the person wants it to do, let's say, $2.5 or $3, and it's out. You that entered with, say, $50, you were waiting for it to hit $5 for you to have made a huge amount of money. That person that entered with $1,000, let's say even the liquidity to that whole token is very small. That person wants 50%. Or even 2x for him to probably even crash the full price of this whole thing. So we have to understand that if this thing has done 2x, 100%, or it's done 200%, 300%, at least remove your capital.
Take profits.
Even if you don't want to take profit, you believe that this thing will give you a shit amount of money, remove capital. By removing capital, you de-risk yourself. I call it free money. So now you now have free money in that token. So if you want to do diamond hand, hodl till eternity, know that what you're hodling is free money. It's not your capital. So you can now probably reuse that capital to something else. So that's what we prefer. We call it capital efficiency. So you're using one money to probably
and also to I think people need to also avoid that urge of round tripping. That's a huge.
If you're moving capital at first, there's no way you will round trip.
But most persons, they unknowingly to themselves round trip.
That's the thing now.
They unknowingly
it's knowledge. It's
to
knowledge.
themselves round trip. And I think because I saw it all over CTNG, even outside CTNG, all over crypto Twitter, I saw lots of persons complaining that their biggest issue and their biggest mess up in this first quarter or in this current cycle was because they round tripped So people made crazy money, but they kept round trip. They took profit, funny enough. They put maybe 10k in a project, they took out 30k or 40k, they'll go and put the whole 40k or maybe 35k in another project. It gets to maybe 90 or 100, they'll go and put 70 or 80 in another one. You understand?
That's you resisting the urge to always be invested in something. I tell people the best crypto to hold is USDT. It's a stable coin. That's the best crypto to hold.
You can't go wrong holding a stable coin.
You can't go wrong, because anytime opportunity presents itself, you can
as long as it's also not an algorithmic stable coin. You don't want to see a repeat of Terra Luna.
No. This circle not even had any algo yet. But I won't even advise anybody to start messing with algo now. But for me, another thing too that also aids people to round trip is staking. I tell people, be careful when they are giving you good APYs, because nowadays,
when you talk about staking,
nowadays it's not even the APYs again, is the ability to get airdrop via staking. That make people to go and stake. So if you're staking, realize that, see, one thing you have to first know, how long does it take to unstake? Some people, they will tell you have to wait 7 days before you get your money back. Some will tell you 2 weeks. The standard now is like 2 weeks to get your money back. There's a protocol that we are invested in on AO. It's 3 months.
Yes.
I'm sure so many people don't know that this thing is 3 months.
3 months takes 3 months to unstake.
Yeah, and then imagine that this is crypto. Crypto moves very fast, right? Can you wait 3 months to unstake?
You know, the truth about. Okay, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that much later. But I think that's why being part of a community can never be overemphasized.
That's it.
Because most times the market is so broad that most people are not doing crypto full time. Most persons are in crypto, they are not doing it full time. So they have to be dependent on people like us that were doing it full time. You get on our knowledge, the details we put out there, the follow up, and also our experience. But that being said, there is another thing that most persons are not paying attention to. Despite whatever is happening in the market, even if the market is bearish, there are other chains of interest that people are making money on chain
market. Yes, of course.
Okay, people are making money. So right now, generally, the perception out there is the crypto market is terrible, it's bad, it's bearish. But still, there are people trading on certain chains like AO. They are making money there. There are people trading on Binance Smart Chain, Onchain, and they are making money. There are still some persons that maybe they are features traders, and they love to short, and they are aggressively still making money. So people need to understand that is when you lose track of what is happening, or you get married to a narrative. Yet that is when
you don't see the opportunity.
That is just
because
when the ecosystem will mess with you.
I tell people, even in this whole the market is down, people are still positioning themselves. Immediately the market goes live, they start making money. And also the market is down, you can, like farmers, people that are farming, there are tokens that people are farming heavily. They've now, the thing is, do not leave the market because you think the market is down. Slow. There are things you can still do in the market. You can intensify your farming on several chains, because those tokens might launch when the market is now okay. Even when the market is down, next thing you find out that a token you kind of farm maybe a few weeks ago is the one that gave you some money for you to use survive the market. So you can farm. You can go to specific chains, like we saw what happened on Polkadot.
The word. Word meme.
It's a meme token anyway, but people made some money from it.
They say it's also an agent.
Yes, we've seen what we are doing with AO, where we made some money from Apus. Also, ArIO also pumped when it launched, and a few other tokens that
FFP also did well. And the funny thing is, these projects that we made money from, they are still very undervalued.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying. There are, like, if you look at Bottega, they've announced that
the token
will soon be live. You can farm the Bottega token, and I still know for a fact that it's still going to do a stealth launch.
Even at that, to still be very undervalued once it goes live.
Of course, we saw what happened with FFP stealth launch. We saw what happened with ArIO. Low stealth launch. Apus is the last one I did a stealth launch. So if Bottega does a stealth launch, we know that it's a good opportunity for you to maybe take like a 3x or a 4x. So
yes. That's really true. So next, let's look at on-chain activities, like recent activities happening, and a bit of on-chain activities. We already know that Solana has been killing it in the markets since like last year till date, for about a year now. Solana from nowhere has been killing all the statistics, all the metrics, and doing huge numbers and volume. But funny enough, since early this year, at a point Solana beat Binance Smart Chain. But for the past 2 weeks now, we've started seeing Binance Smart Chain take the lead. To be specific, for the last 4-5 days, Binance Smart Chain has beat Solana on TVL. Binance Smart Chain has also beat Solana on daily trading volume. You know, in the peak of the meme coins, we said this stuff then that we used to say then that at least 60% of trading volume on Solana is generated based on meme coins. So if you eliminate meme coins, it will crash.
It's meme.
As of January, we're seeing Solana doing 8 million
Solana is
daily trading volume.
Casino.
We're even seeing it at some point go slightly above 10 billion trading volume daily. But right now, struggling to do 2 billion or thereabout. And Binance Smart Chain has actually surpassed it.
I think
in terms of daily trading volume.
People celebrated a whole 24 hours of Pump.form not having any token created.
For the very first time. No, is it? No, I don't think it wasn't a token created. I think it was no token was migrated. I think so.
It's nobody created a token for 24 hours. Yes, nobody. Because how many tokens get migrated?
Barely 1%.
Yes, so
barely 1%.
Was like, because people, what was it called? Pump form, whether you create tokens, whether your tokens migrate or not, they still make their money. And then I think that was this month, their revenue dropped. That was like the first time their revenue dropped to 100k per day or 100k per week that they made in revenue. That's crazy. $100,000. I think it was per day that it dropped to that particular amount. So Solana, the metrics is a little bit low, right, when compared to Binance Smart Chain. But let's not forget that there's a little bit of would I say competition, or would I say disagreement, or would I say
within Solana?
Yes, within. Now Pump.form came with this whole idea of having a bonding curve to creating tokens, right?
They were the ones that started that.
They were the ones that started it, which I think maybe some of the idea, or part of that idea, they borrowed it from Friends Tech. That idea, they refined it and made it, much more
better,
beautiful and sustainable. Because Friends Tech was really a good idea, if you ask me. So now what they did was, all the liquidity was being migrated to Radium, and that also helped solidify Radium as a DEX. Because truly, back then, sometimes Radium was lagging. Like Radium was actually becoming annoying. That people were using DEX aggregators like Jupiter, right? Or even go and use Orca or some other DEX. But them running, their liquidity was exclusive.
Straight to Radium. Once they migrate,
and that also helped Radium to boost revenue and all that stuff. But now they've come up to say, guys, we are having our own DEX, which is what they call it again,
Pump swap.
Now Radium has come up to say we are launching our own meme platform. So, and we know, like you said, 60% of this volume is coming from this particular platform, because they made it very easy
very
to create.
Easy.
Now don't forget that before Pump.form, we had DEX Lab. We had those some other ones that could help you mint tokens and do a proper raise.
But they didn't make it as easy.
It was easy, but they didn't put a bonding curve to make it that.
I feel it wasn't as easy as Pump.form, because Pump.form made this thing just too easy. And they kind of like also made it real time, where you could see people commenting and you understand things. I think
the one thing that Pump.form made easy was you can sell in and out of the bonding curve. Now, because what was it meaning? You don't need to wait for this token to launch. You can even make money while it's in the process of launching.
Yeah, in the bonding
While
curve.
other platform, other launch pad like DexLab and the rest is your money is being held till this thing finishes.
The
And
proper,
it finishes,
a proper launch pad.
yes,
standard.
a proper launch pad. By the time the full money is raised, and then the guys maybe add liquidity to the exchange, and then you guys go and start trading. So it might take a long time, or maybe if there is a soft cap or a hard cap, if it's not met, maybe you guys get a refund. If it's met, you guys now hustle to go and trade it. But PumpForm made it that, see guys, you cannot withdraw liquidity. That is one. Two, if it doesn't migrate, you can sell in and out of the bonding curve. Meaning, if you get in early to this token, before it reaches maybe 50%, you will have made 4, 5x or 10x. You can decide to.
Yeah. So PumpForm actually solved the issue of rogging too.
Yes, that's it.
Which was really, really.
But then he created the ultimate rog machine. Because
the other way around. Yeah. It filled the market with multiple tokens.
Of course, now and then
much tokens.
And then because of that, I can make a token bonding curve. I the dev can even sell my full token in that bonding curve, or I can motivate people for it to migrate. The moment it migrates, I will go and rog on the DEX, and then I can spin up another token again and tell people
and repeat the same process and all of that
again. So
so it's a whole lot happening. But then on the positive side, we've seen Solana have announced their new phone. You got their new phone that will be going live, and I strongly believe the first phone they launched, the first and the second, I think Saga 1 and I think Saga 2, they were quite instrumental too in their success with the airdrops they did then. Bonk airdrop and so many.
Solana, they are really innovative.
No, they have been really, really innovative. Then also we are seeing Su attempting to do a similar thing. Their game device is finally out. So I'll be anticipating and expecting to see some airdrops. If you look at it, if you look at gaming versus DeFi, there was an analysis by an on-chain analyst that I was going through. I think Dami Larry. I was going through it where he carefully outlined like what is happening on chain, on Avalanche, how DeFi is slightly lagging behind GameFi. So we are gradually beginning to see stuffs like GameFi bringing more and more on-chain transactions. And also GameFi bringing in some form of trading volume. GameFi bringing in like new users consistently. You get not just when the market is bullish, but you get consistently. And I couldn't help but wonder, you've seen the same thing too on Chromia. You get Chromia currently.
There's no DeFi activity.
99%, or let me not exaggerate, at least 90% of on-chain transactions on Chromia now is based on GameFi. And it is working efficiently. So even if Chromia tomorrow starts DeFi, which they will definitely start it, and some other concept, maybe DeSci and some other stuffs, if they start it, you wouldn't just be depending on those stuffs for the blockchain to perform and to stay afloat. Because the good thing with games is there would always be game lovers, there would always be players, there will always be utility.
I think if you're comparing GameFi and DeFi, for me, I think GameFi would win, right?
Long term.
Yes, because GameFi, even people now, they try to gamify DeFi. They try to make it fun, right? If someone is coming to play game, we all know how much the gaming industry is worth.
And there's slightly some form of DeFi inside GameFi.
Yes, because if I'm playing game, I'm having fun. Most people spend a whole lot of money on PlayStation without even getting any form of money out from it.
Nothing.
Right?
They're just enjoying it.
You buy characters, you pay for certain in-game items that are not even exclusively yours. That you can't even trade or transfer to somebody else, right? But if GameFi or most GameFi platforms, what they are trying to do is for you to own your in-game characters, be able to upgrade, sell, trade, rent some of these characters and make money off these characters. Now we saw what happened with one of the first successful GameFis, which is Axie Infinity. it took over even a full country. That at some point, I think the Philippines government wanted to ban, or even had to ban Axie Infinity, because it was making people were making money from
They're making money from it, buying houses.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, people were even opening like schools where they will
teach people how to play the game.
Give them money to buy those.
And assets. I know Axie started sponsoring people to play the game. Now, the funny thing about all of this is, all of this was as at then happening on Ethereum.
Yes, which was a slow chain.
Yes, which was really, really slow before they now had to go and start their own blockchain, the running chain.
So another thing too is people are using these games to stress test their chain, to tell you that these are a chain for you to handle games without lagging, without you experiencing that slow stuff. It shows that our chain is very strong. And now don't forget, we don't really have high frequency trading platforms on chain. It's not really there yet.
We do have Hyperliquid.
Yeah, Hyperliquid. We've not really seen that high frequency trading come to the blockchain like we have.
But so far so good. Hyperliquid has been doing.
Yeah,
really,
Hyperliquid
really well.
is good.
Like,
it's
really well
on chain trading platform.
Yeah,
it's good.
really well.
But now we are not trying to see or chains like some Avalanche. I think an Avalanche subnet and some and Chromia itself is trying to tell you our chain, the games, everything, both the logic, the storage,
it's all on chain.
It's all on chain. We're not having to do with centralized, what's it called, service providers and all that stuff. So, and that's the same thing that AO is still trying to do, because we are seeing games that are being built on AO. That is telling you that both the logic, the storage, everything is on chain. There. So with that, you can own your assets. You can trade your in-game characters as NFTs.
There's true decentralization
in these things
without points of failure.
Yeah. So
dependencies.
Now, people now know that. See, I can have fun on chain. I can play Now the thing here is that we've not really seen that, or we've not gotten there yet, where we now see a particular brand or a game that people are addicted to, that everybody's playing. But even if you're a Solana maxi, you will go to a particular chain just to play this game, just the way we have on Web 2, where people are playing
Call of Duty,
people are playing Pairs, people are playing so many other games online. We've not gotten there. We saw in the last circle a whole lot of gaming platform raise a shit ton of money.
So much money.
Mostly on Solana. We saw
most of them have not delivered nothing.
I think this one I'm trying to remember.
Star Atlas.
Guys, Star Atlas sold.
Star
Atlas no sell.
There is
they sold space station, they sold aircraft,
they raised crazy money. And we've been seeing prototype short gameplays, but the actual game, it's been 4 years now, going to 5 years.
Guys, really a shit ton of money.
And the actual game is still not yet out.
So let's see how it.
But eventually it would be.
Yeah.
It would be. So now let's talk about some gems that we're actually buying from the projects we're buying, but we would only list in one of the ecosystems. So we actually do this in our Telegram group. Just in case you're not part of it, you should join. Link is in the description, the Telegram community. And we still discuss on Spaces on our Twitter, where we also hold different kind of spaces where we talk about what's happening in the market. So some of the gems we're looking at buying, that we have also started buying, mind you, this is not financial advice. Some of them we are like Apus. Yes, we are really big on Apus, which is a project on AO. Won't be going so deep on it. We are also, it's currently at $5 million FDV. We're also really good on FFP Fusion 5 protocol, which is around 650k FDV. I'm still on AO. Then we're also big on Agent, which is around 600k FDV. And then lastly, we're also really big on ArIO, which is also another huge project. So we're not giving details about what these projects are about. ArIO is currently at $10 million FDV. So you can look into those projects and you can buy them, but we strongly believe these projects will do real good long term. Like I said, we're only dropping the ones on AO ecosystem. So if you need the ones on other ecosystems, you can always join our Telegram channel or follow us on Twitter to get access to most of these stuffs. So then looking at airdrops, we said airdrop season 2025 is going to be like airdrop season, and we've seen airdrops give crazy money since late last year, October, November till February. People have made $40,000 from one airdrop, 20k from one airdrop, as much as $2 billion from one airdrop. Kudos to Hyperliquid. What do you think? Do you think right now the traction, the relevance, the interest has dropped after this Q1? Because another thing is, if you look at those airdrops like Vana, Kinto, most of those airdrops, what's the other one? Forgetting some of them. If you go and look at their tokens, exception of like Hyperliquid, that its token is still higher than when it's launched. If you look at so many others, their tokens have crashed aggressively.
Of course.
They have crashed.
I think even the
some
Magic
others, their
Eden token,
protocol. Some others, their protocol is not even that effective as it was. Then the hype is down. For a few others, the ones that utilized NFTs to give airdrop, the NFTs have crashed aggressively. Like they have crashed by as much as 95%. So what would you say, like, in terms of people still investing in airdrops, or maybe to go back and buy the dip for some of these other ones that have dumped?
Well, for me, it depends on your strategy, right? People, there's this I call it a false narrative that airdrops are free. They're not really free, because you're in as much as you're spending your time, but also you're giving attention, because in this day and age, attention is currency. You're giving attention, you're giving numbers to that platform, so that platform can easily go to an exchange and say, we have 50,000 monthly active users farming.
Can use it to raise funds.
Yes, they can use it to raise funds. They can use it to negotiate better deals with exchanges in order to list their tokens. So you're not really, they're not really giving you free tokens, right? You're kind of their product, kind of. So, for me, this quarter, right, there are airdrops that I think people should farm, right? And also think, when you're farming a token, you should be able to think, if I'm spending my money, if I'm putting $100, $200, do I think I can get back this money from this token? Because I've seen people say, this platform is asking me to pay X amount of money for human verification, or to do this. But genuinely, do you think in your own way of farming, because they are like, farmers are different, right? Do you think you paying $10, you can make $10 from this thing when it lists and you're able to sell? Because there's this conversation on Twitter that most of these farmers, these key opinion leaders that are farming, that they're able to farm this amount of money, 10k, 5k, and they are telling you to grind. Why they are telling you this thing is because they were able to farm this amount is because of referrals. Because
their community.
They have a community, so they can refer this much and then make. You that you don't know up to 10 people to refer, you can never make there's no way you will grind on earth or make you get that money, right? So you paying, let's say your they call it Idolo is telling you, go and pay $10 and be verified, you can be able to make up to $50k. He can pay the $10, and because he knows that this family is mostly referral based, so you also paying your $10 also makes you an eligible referee. You get, or referrer. So you have to know, this thing I'm farming, can I make this money before I put this money? Right? But for me, airdrops are still active, right? Though the narrative has shifted, because there was when airdrop was booming on ton, right? But now there are some people that don't want to use ear to hear about ton airdrops. They move past that. Don't forget also, there was a time airdrops was like booming on Solana. It was like Solana was like the boss of airdrops. Now it's a mix. Most is still on what's it called? Most is still on,
and there are also newer projects, layer 1, DP.
So they are testing
different narratives.
That are focusing also on AO. We've seen airdrops that are really, really sweet on that we've gotten on AO, right? And there are still so many more that is going to. We got FFP, we got what's it called? We got ArIO.
Yeah.
Which other one? I think people got agents when agent launched.
When agent launched, yeah. Yes. We've gotten at least 4 very good airdrops.
Are really good. People that got
really good
agents, I think it was at some point worth more than $2,000 that people got from that token. Now we are looking at also getting the one from Bottega. Maybe we might still
even
get
PamaSwap
and so
AOX.
Yes, there's so many AOX too.
There are still about 4 or 5 airdrops we're expecting.
We are giving airdrops,
solid airdrops actually.
Solid airdrops. So airdrops are still good. Mine is if you're farming, know your limit. Know, for example, I'm farming color pool, right? I farmed color pool for a very long time. I do believe that color pool will be good, but I told myself I can't go and spend to upgrade from level 7 to level 8 and pay about 6k for Telegram stars. I'm like, wait, I've paid for this one. I don't think it's going to be worth it for me to go and pay that money.
Yeah,
it's 6k, small money, but to me I'm like, no, let me farm this thing very well. Let me even see what these guys are doing, right? Same thing with what is it called, XOOB, because these guys
XOOB have been farming. They've been farming people
that's what
for over a year.
I'm like,
right?
I don't.
The farming has taken so long.
Yes, this
for about a year plus, going to 2 years.
Yeah, so you have to now ask yourself. It might be small money that you can afford, but you can look at it that
it's not really worth it.
No, instead of me to pay this 6k, let me just farm it normally.
But then again, another thing is you're looking at it that way because you're not an airdrop farmer.
Well,
you get that is not really where you're making the bulk of your money. In fact, that's not even where you're making 10% of your money from. You're just doing it passively to just try the protocol, see what they are up to. You get, but for someone that's an airdrop farmer, that person would not mind to even invest $500 to get to farm, and that person would farm that thing like their life depends
that $500 back.
That's the most times airdrop farmers they lose too. They lose, but the one that pays
might cover
pay so well. So for example, an airdrop farmer might be farming a particular airdrop with like 6-7 devices, pay maybe $200 for each, and he might lose. But the one that would pay, that he will still farm with like 6, 7, 8 devices, that person will make crazy money. Let's use like on AO now, ArIO for example. People that farmed, we got ArIO airdrop based on we're using the protocol and stuff like that. But people that farmed ArIO, that went all out to farm it, they got nothing less than 20,000 ArIO on each wallet. You get, and when it launched, 20,000 ArIO, if you multiply it by 0.1, that's 10 cents, that would be like $2,000 per wallet. Now imagine they farmed that stuff with 6 wallets. You get, so that is them already getting about $12,000. You get, because ArIO did not make use of any means or system to like eliminate some wallet address. Even if you farmed the whole thing in one laptop or one phone, you qualified in everything. You understand? So imagine people that really farmed it. Imagine like the ambassadors that knew all the requirements
that they were using.
Yes, that they were using to vet, and they farmed it. Because the funny thing is, the most you could get in a wallet was 120,000 ArIO, which at launch price that's like $12,000. So imagine someone that now farmed it on like 10 different wallets, and it costs nothing really to farm that stuff. He didn't really to like put in any serious money or whatever. It's really cost nothing to farm it. So that's the thing. The airdrop farmers is a game of numbers. Anyone that clicks, they will make crazy money. Anyone that doesn't, they'll count it as a bad day and a loss, and also like a lesson too. So yeah, so rounding up, I want to say congratulations to the pie farmers. Those guys, they have like a very, very strong faith. They've been farming pie against all odds for years. Despite the insults and everything, they kept on farming pie. And for some weird reasons, it was our parents, people around that age grade. You get people that are above 40 that was hearing them talk about pie the most. I don't know why, but they really do have patience, and congratulations to them. Pie did well, and I hope most of them did not sell their pie before the launch, because that's another thing. Most persons ended up selling most of their pie before the project even launched. They said they'll sell it to eat, and most persons did not cash out. But yeah, congratulations to them. Pi launched, and right now Pi is at $1.1. Personally, I think because of the community and also the rally behind the community and also the engagement, and also because they have maintained a good trading volume since they launched, I think it will still bounce back. I'm not buying it though, but I think it will still bounce back. So for those interested, you might want to look into it, maybe DCA or buy the dip at $1 where it is right now. The only place I would see Pi and buy is if it drops to 40 cents. If Pi drops to 40 cents, I'll definitely buy. If it drops to 40 cents, but if it doesn't, I'm still waiting for now. So thanks once again, guys. Thanks for staying to the end. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, we drop this episode every week, and we have our socials. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on YouTube, and we also drop the audio on Spotify. So wherever you're watching, please ensure to share the link, leave your comments, tell us what you want us to talk about, tell us what you like us to see, maybe areas you want us to improve on, and also don't forget to subscribe. Thanks guys.
Bye guys.
Bye bye.